Once upon a time, people flocked to the state of Iowa seeking a better life, more freedom, lower taxes. In the past 20 years, we have watched over 63,000 Iowans, or the equivalent of moving the entire city of Council Bluffs, move out of the state. And our response has been to take the same failed policies that have driven these people out of the state and actually make them worse. We are less free than we were 20 years ago. It is more difficult to make it. Our small towns are dying in the last census. 70 out of 99 counties lost population. Small towns are dying, and they will not be around for many more years unless we act now. We've got to bring people back into this state. We've got to start prizing our liberties. We've got to start protecting our rights. As it said in our great motto of this state, our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain. Unfortunately, we've kind of forgot that in Iowa. And that's something we have got to work to start changing. We need to look at the fact that what we have done is we have shifted the tax burden from, while big corporations get huge tax cuts and tax credits, we regulate small businesses out of business. We tax the poorest Iowans, the Iowans living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to make it, and we tax them with a high sales tax, one that they cannot afford, a tax that is on necessities. And then in order to try to subsidize and fix that problem, we say, well, you know what, we'll increase the welfare benefits, and then we add a middleman instead of just making the process simple. A single mother has to spend a lot of money in taxes, and we often hear people claim that the poor don't pay their fair share of taxes, but that's not true in Iowa. The poor pay more than their fair share of taxes. And they pay it through high vehicle registrations, high property tax, high sales tax. The sales tax is on necessities, clothing, shoes, diapers are all taxed at a high rate. When your car breaks down and you have to buy another car, you're paying a high tax on that car, your only means of transportation. And so we make things even worse. We increase the gasoline tax without any real plan to actually fix our decaying and dying infrastructure in Iowa that desperately needs to be fixed. We need to open up thanks to market competition to get our roads and bridges repaired like they need to. The same way with our education system. That's not attracting people to the state anymore. We used to have one of the best education systems, and now we're somewhere in the middle of the pack. Despite very high spending on education, we've increased that, but we've gotten worse results. A good CEO would say it's time for a change. We need to bring jobs and people back to the state. The fact is, some of our biggest cities that are on the borders have lost people. Council Bluffs and Sioux City have both lost people to neighboring states because we don't have the same personal freedom that we once did. We don't have the same infrastructure that builds up small businesses, and we can do that. If we were to phase out and eventually eliminate the Iowa sales tax, we would have jobs, people flocking into our state. We need to start respecting our civil liberties. We need to do away with the fact that the state of Iowa can steal your property through civil asset forfeiture and place the burden of proof on you to prove that you are innocent in the state. That is not respecting your rights. That is not respecting your liberties. We have government agencies that have no accountability. There's no accountability if they're being effective. They've not had a serious review of how to make them more effective. We have a website infrastructure from the late 90s. You cannot pay by credit card in most cities, towns, communities, counties, the state government. We have an infrastructure, a technological efficient infrastructure, a transportation efficient infrastructure, an education efficient infrastructure, a tax infrastructure that is failing us. And it is driving people, jobs across the state lines. And the only thing that's benefiting us is some of the neighboring states aren't much better than us. And Illinois is much worse. We have got to make Iowa the envy of the Midwest and the envy of the United States, and we can do this. We can work together. We can work together to save our dying small towns before it's too late. We can bring people. We can bring jobs back into Iowa. We can live free. We can be free. But we've got to work on this, and we've got to work together. We've got to stop focusing on these issues that divide us and start working on the issues that we all care about. We focus on these one or two issues, and the Democrats and Republicans are very good at this. They get us to focus and fight over a couple of issues, and they ignore the fact that 63,000 Iowans have left the state. They ignore the fact that our education system has fallen that dramatically in the past couple of decades. And then we keep electing the same people that have failed us time and time again. And they continue to fail us, and they will continue to fail us because they don't have solutions. The only thing we've got is a corrupt cronyism that is running this state. It is putting it is putting the money in the hands of a few people, a few corporate interests, while it is taxing businesses and people out of the state. They cannot make it because the state of Iowa does not let them make it. We don't provide the structure for people to live the American dream and to live the Iowa dream. And that's something we're going to start to do. We're going to go back in, and I'm asking you to help us find solutions. I don't have all the solutions, but I know that there's enough smart people out there across this great state that do have solutions. And we can work together, and we can go back, and we can bring people, we can bring jobs back here. We can fix the decaying infrastructure, the technological, the education infrastructure, and the transportation infrastructure deficiencies that we are having in the state. We can fix our tax system. We can fix our issues with the criminal justice system. And we can make this the greatest state in the United States. And we will have people flocking here in droves like they once did in the early 1900s. Iowa was a great place that everyone wanted to come, and we had many people come from across the world to come to Iowa. We can't build up a place that people are proud to call home, and a place where people can flourish and they can live their lives as they want, so long as they are not harming anyone else, and they can be economically free to do that. We will have a place where people can move up from the bottom of the economic ladder to the top. And we will quit just giving the state away to a few big corporations so they can pass regulations to keep the small man out of business. That is what we've got to do, but we've got to start working together on these issues.